I mean, Eminem's always been an artist where the production just wasn't a fit for me, nor was the content ever a fit. Like I've always respected him and I've always been like, yeah, he's one of the legends and goats. But I think for me, like when I'm listen as a music listener, I'm looking for three things. Like either I want to be moved emotionally, I want to dance and wild out, or I want to vibe out and relax. And I feel like his music doesn't like hit any of those, rarely hits any of those three boxes for me. So I feel like half the time it's almost like looking at a street performer who's juggling like fucking 300 items. You're like, this is dope, but would I
But
pay to
why?
see this shit?
But why?
Or like, do I want to watch this again? Yeah, like, but why? Like, when he puts words together, yeah, I smirk and I'm like, wow, like that's super clever. No one else would think of that or is possible of thinking of that. But then I'm like, but why? Like, what's the point? And I think I've always felt that way about his music. I
Oh,
feel like
even
it's
from the jump,
always,
even like the Eminem show and like Marshall Mathers LPs and those albums.
maybe not so much back then. I don't know, just like generally speaking, I just feel like in the back of my mind, it always just feels kind of gimmicky. Like unless it's a song like I Am or like
Lose Yourself.
Yeah, Lose Yourself and shit like that just feels super authentic, then I understand. But like when it's like that one song, the single he had, that kind of sounded like it was off
Houdini?
one of his old LPs. Yeah, Houdini. Like shit like that. I'm like, this is funny to like watch, but
Yeah.
I can't like seriously sit down and listen to it and like, pump my fist and be like, yeah, this is fucking the dopest song ever. It just doesn't connect with me.
Yeah. No, dude, I totally get that. I think the reason, and I don't want to speak for you, but again, I'm starting to realize, bro, like obviously the human experience is a very unique thing for individuals, but when you speak these things out loud, you realize, oh, you're also going through that same thing. I think, dude, because we're similar in age, I think the reason why one, obviously, you can't deny his like lyrical ability, right? Like that cannot be denied. Whatever time you listen to Eminem. However, dude, I think with like the Marshall Mather, like that type of sound that he had back in the day when we were like in middle school, high school, bro, we were also rebellious as kids, right? In the sense of like, ooh, this is like a naughty thing we shouldn't be listening to, but like, yeah, like let's kill everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like fuck it. Whereas like now it's like, dude, like I wanted to Google like, what does he have against Christopher Reeves? I'm like, this guy died 15 years ago. Was a paraplegic his last 20 years on this earth. Like, what beef do you have with him, bro? Like, it made me feel so uncomfortable to be like, should I be listening to this dude? Like, again, as a 35-year-old man with a mortgage, I was just like, oh, bro, it was just really hard for me to fully engage, man. Like, that was the truth of it. Like, I'm gonna give it another listen because I do respect his ability. And there were a couple of songs that we'll get like that did lure me in. I was like, all right, man, this is pretty good. But it felt like a whole album of Lose Yourself in the sense of like, not Lose Yourself, 8 Mile, the movie, where he's like essentially like just playing jokes on himself. So it's like, if I say this about myself, like, what are you gonna say about me, kind of a thing. But then it's also like, bro, I don't know, man. Just like, I don't know if we've already heard that before from you. Or the production, bro. I was just like, dog, like none of these beats are doing, like to your point about the three things you require. I'm like, these beats aren't doing anything for me, bro. This shit might as well be a fucking acapella and you just fucking, just rap, bro. Because like you're not on beat. These beats suck. Like, so I'm just like, bro, I don't get it. So I feel like my biggest takeaway was like, I don't like why. Like, I don't get how. Again, bro, I don't know if his core audience loves this. I know this album's gonna do numbers because it's him. He's probably the most popular rapper alive of all time or something. But it just felt a lot of like, man, like as a 35-year-old man, I don't really understand it anymore. Cause like there's no need for me to be like, yeah, like, midgets. Like, bro, like, I don't get this. Like,
yeah. No, I think that's a great take and assessment of why it feels off. I mean, I will say I do love the Renaissance and Lucifer beats. I think those were dope, but overall, and I do appreciate that he seemed to revert to his old style pretty seamlessly. Like it felt like a lot of these songs could have been from an album, 15 years ago or whatever. But yeah, for me, the shock value just doesn't hit. And maybe it's because nowadays we're like overexposed to people getting canceled left and right for saying all kinds of crazy shit, that now it's just not even that surprising or shocking. It's like him saying like a bad word or making fun of like uh a minority of some sort or disabled person. It's like, ooh, now look, like I'm the big bad rapper who says offensive shit. But like back in the day, that was new. But now it's like, who gives a fuck? Like we see this shit on Twitter every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I get you poking fun at it, right? Like making fun of, like, I like the making fun of society, making fun of culture. Like, dude, he destroyed Lizzo a couple times over, and I obviously giggled and I found it funny. But like in the bigger scheme of things, and that's not I didn't mean to make that pun about her. Yeah, but that was fire though. That's a skit right there. In the bigger scheme of it, it's also like, all right, bro, but like if the entire song is just because you want to be controversial, like how is that going to move me on a day-to-day listening basis, right? Like on some like soundtrack to my life type shit, like on my drive to work, right? Like do I really want to go into work with like that top of mind, or do I want some like inspirational, aspirational, or some super cocky shit that's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to go be the fucking man today, right? Like you don't really get any of that from him. So it's just like, I find it hard to understand the context I'm meant to sit in and just enjoy this. Right.
And besides saying respect people that are already have been made fun of multiple times by everybody.
Yeah, so it's not nuance. Yeah. So again, it's tough, man. But again, I'm not gonna say it's bad. I just don't think it's a very specific group. I think he's trying to like appeal to, like maybe that core audience that was a little bit older when he first came out and like loved him then. So like as they got older, they still kind of fucked with it. But I think it's tough for like us who were kids when this shit came out originally, and then like you kind of just grow out of it, right? Like I think if you were 23 years old and fucked with him then, you're going to be 46 now and still fuck with it, right? Because you enjoyed that as a grown-ass adult already. So, like, why wouldn't you love it now? But I think for us, bro, like, it's our generation, like, it's a little bit tough to kind of still be, like, championing, like, yo, why are you making fun of, like, a guy that died, like, so long ago? Like, I just don't, like, it didn't make sense to me.